Well, it's made national headlines. Images of sensitive Indian military facilities available to anyone with a computer thanks to free software called Google Earth. But is Google Earth really that big a deal? Vishnu has this report on how images of some of the most strategically important Indian and Pakistani defense bases have been available online for many years.
Forget about Google Earth. The images that you see here are images likely to leave many in the defense establishment stunned. These are images of India's premier missile test facility, and it's available on the internet free of charge at the click of a mouse. In fact, it's been available online before Google Earth was even invented. Neither is there a dearth of detail. Missiles are identified, as are helipads, administrative buildings and support structures. Google Earth may have resulted in an enormous controversy on the easy availability of satellite imagery of militarily sensitive locations, but really this is something that's been happening for several years. Military enthusiasts and defense analysts have been trading satellite imagery for a long time. Take, for instance, India's missile testing facilities off the Orissa coast. All one needs to do is go across to Google or Yahoo and enter the name of the facility, which is Wheeler Island. And the very first hit that you have is Wheeler Island satellite imagery. And if you go into this website, you get quality images of Wheeler Island and where India tests its Agni missiles. And it's not just Indian military locations which are there for everyone to see. Pakistan, or for that matter China's facilities, are equally vulnerable. These in fact are images of Pakistan's Sargodha facility, the same base where its Chinese designed M11 ballistic missiles are thought to be stored. So has national security been fundamentally compromised? Is India, or for that matter Pakistan or China, more susceptible to attack? Is the internet an invincible enemy? Online editors of leading defense websites have a simple answer: no.
I don't know what exactly they mean by national security, because this kind of imagery has always been available for a price over the internet. I mean, there have been corporations dealing with space imagery that has been providing this kind of high resolution photographs for sale for quite some time. Now, what Google has done is they are providing all these photographs and all this imagery for free and on a much more wider scale. That is, a basic layperson can get to access all this imagery at no cost. So if anyone had any designs on national security, he would have found a way to break it even before. Maybe he will find it a little bit easier, but just by stopping Google Earth, you are not going to ensure national security.
But the government so far has other views.
Our own maps we are not putting on public domain. The reason is obviously we see there is a security perception on this, and therefore we cannot say that is there a security perception or not. There is definitely a security perception, but how do we handle this is something which we'll have to discuss, because we haven't had this kind of things earlier.
It all began when the popular online site Google released, free of charge, its new download called Google Earth. The software has left people around the world mesmerized. The ability to see the Earth like you've never seen it. Not just mountains and features, but details like the street you live on and even your very own home. But this has also meant that military installations are there for everyone to see, something which military enthusiasts on the internet have wasted no time in accessing. These are images of the naval dockyard in Mumbai. Google Earth lets you zoom right onto the deck of the aircraft carrier INS Virat, in addition to seeing India's submarines. But it's this image which has online armchair defense pundits mesmerized. Some say it might just be the first pictures of the ATV, or Advanced Technology Vessel, otherwise thought to be India's indigenous nuclear submarine. Let me be the first to report that there are actually 6 submarines when you zoom into Mumbai, says one enthusiast. Would tell you where it is, but I suspect you might have more fun looking for it and maybe find some other jewels. Happy hunting. Another enthusiast says, folks, I'm almost certain now we caught the big one. Look at the sail and how the rear part blends down into the fuselage. It's this kind of open discussion that many in the intelligence community would be worried about.
Part of it has to do with the government's what do you call loss of control. I would say aerial photographs and maps and everything were always restricted and were always controlled by certain central government organizations for quite some time. Now it could be that today they are finding that control disappearing just because of Google. As far as like how much is national security is compromised, I think the government has to be very specific about what its fears are. As of now, whatever concerns it has been raising do not make much of a point on this front.
But even without satellite imagery, the internet has been a happy hunting ground for those interested in security affairs. There are copious amounts of literature online on projects which the government considers top secret. So while the government maintains that there is no program to build an indigenous nuclear submarine, one well-respected defense website has details down to when and where the nuclear reactor was tested and what the likely performance parameters of the submarine are likely to be.
Internet is, part of the information superhighway and provides ready access to information everywhere. And in fact, a lot of defense analysts and others, keen, even military enthusiasts and all, found this a godsend to be able to discuss with like-minded people about various aspects of defense and strategic and security issues. And it's so easy to put up a website and put any kind of information. I mean, there is no regulation as such.
Google, for its part, is trying to cooperate, though it does point out that the images which feature online are not live images, but have been filmed years ago. In other words, they have limited intelligence value, since ships at dockyards or aircraft at air bases are not stationary and are bound to have moved since the images were shot. Google says, we'll be happy to talk to Indian authorities about any concern they may have. But the government still has no immediate solution, though it does retain the power to order internet service providers to block websites which it considers objectionable. In a conventional sense, the internet represents a challenge, a threat to the notion of national security. But in the past, national security has often been used as an excuse to hide information. In an era when we speak about a Right to Information Act, the government really needs to ask itself, are these images which have been released on the internet that big a deal? In Delhi, Vishnu Shom for NDTV.